Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Frederick again. I wanted to do a bit of a demo again for people who have missed the live lecture and maybe give you a bit more detailed information. So the first thing I wanted to do to get started in Tableau, provided you got Tableau installed on your computer, which is one thing. So the first thing I've done is I've created a folder for a project file anywhere on your desktop, and I've saved a sample data store. That sample data store is also on Teams or Blackboard as well in the week 2 section. So the first thing I do when I've got Tableau running is I go open Excel. I'm going to open that spreadsheet. So the file opens. I'm just bringing orders to the canvas. So we recognize the Excel type of table view. And as you can see, Tableau recognized the type of file or column that was. So for example, this one is a string. This one, you see the little symbol. This one is a geographical file, a state, and so on. The numbers here are numbers, as you can see. So I've got orders, I've dragged orders there, so I'm ready to start the analysis. So the first thing I do is I click on sheet 1. So what I did before when I did the demo was clicking on cells, double click on cells, double click on category. So I'm starting to expand, double click on subcategory. I can swap rows and columns, so makes it vertical, horizontal. I can add labels by clicking on that. If you wanted to add more labels, those labels are cells, as you can see. You could basically drag profit, for example, to labels if you want it. And this time it displays profit as labels. And in the tooltip, you can see there's both. So Control Z, keep it as it is. What I did also is I brought profit, drag and drop profit in the middle of the Canva. And it just gave me a visual clue of the table profit issues, minus $20,000. So that was the first step. I'm going to rename that sheet cells. What I also did previously was to make a hierarchy. So basically, I take subcategory and category and drag and drop. You could call it anything you want. Doesn't matter too much. So they're basically in the same, almost like same folder. I also can have product name, product ID, and you noticed the plus here? So it basically allows you to drill down further into the data set, different levels. So that's top level, second level, third level, and so on. Something that's good. I also want to bring region here. So now instantly my data has been sort of divided into 4 main regions, and I can see that Southeast Asia is lighting up and table is darker orange. That means there's something to look after or to look at here. So going to duplicate this, and I just want to keep this section. So I just want to click once and keep only. And because I've got that category, I can just click on that and expand and sort. And now I've got all my product name for Southeast Asia in the furniture and tables. So this one is SE South Asia for tables. So I've got a bit more insight this time. What I also did, I did a trend, if you remember. So the trend, something, click on double click on cells, double click on order date. What I want to do is I click on the column here, there, and I can just open the drop down and choose month. As you can see, you can also play around and click on the plus or minus here. So click on the plus, it gives you the week, day, and so on. So if you don't like day, you just go back there, and that's all here. So you could have year, month, all those things there. If you data at seconds, you could even choose by second, but I'm just going to choose month. I also want to bring my categories, and it basically draw 3 lines, as you can see. They're all here. That's my technology sales, office supplies, and furniture. You can also experiment with the analytics tab as we did the other day. You can click on that, drag and drop cluster, forecasts in the pane, and that gives you a forecast. So basically predicting the sales. If you want to understand that the forecast was done, you can right click, forecasts, describe or options. It basically explains you all the options. For example, if you want to have 1 year, you can choose 1 or 2 years. That's one option. There's more options there. If you right click on it again, forecast, options, not options, describe, forecast, describe. It basically tells you or explains how the forecast was done in a stats sense with all the models here. So call it sales trend. The next chart you want, you could potentially do is a map. So click on country. Tableau recognized that all those were countries, so plot up on the map. Then double click on cells. The bigger bubble are the biggest size portion in my cells. What you could do is double click on profit, and you could see instantly that the profit has been colored. Philippines as minus. So the chart or the map basically is using profit as a color coding. If you click on the little plus beside country, you can drill down. So this one is my state level, and this one is city level. And that expansion is possible because, as you can see on the left, they're like in hierarchy as well, as we did for my product. So they're sort of together. That's why we've got a plus or minus. So I could remove that and have country or gone to the city level. So I think that's quite useful. You could even play with labels if you want, but it might be a bit busy. It's up to you to decide. I also want to show you filters, number filters here. So you can actually bring filters by selecting and dropping the fields in the filter tab here. As you do that, Tableau basically shows everything. You could say, no, I just want to see Australia. You click on that. So Australia filter is going to apply. So now the data viz is really reflecting the Australian data set, nothing else. You haven't touched the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is still the same, but the filter has been applied. There's one way you can bring the filter to the chart. If you click on the filter drop down here and go show filter, the filter shows up here, and you could basically choose another country, and have more information on the map. There's also a way you could customize the filter and have, for example, multiple value. That's a design aesthetic thing, really. And call it map or something that's meaningful for you. Another type of chart that is useful for analysis is what's called a scalar plot. So for this time, I'm going to click on profit and sales. So the scalar plot are very useful to compare two dimensions, two numbers. So I'm comparing the profit, I'm comparing the sales here. So I've got a 1 mark, which is normal. That's my comparison profit sales for my shop. But I want to bring category to the mix. I might just want to color by profit. What I do, because it's categorized, as you can see, I'm just bringing more information. So all those are my product names, but then drag and drop profit to the color. So this time I get a view of what's going on in my shop. I can even play and add labels if you wanted. That could be quite useful. So you can see that product is minus 2,700. One thing you could also do is, for example, for some of sales here, if you could click on the drop down, you could normalize and, for example, have the data as percent of total. So it basically gave me a percent of total here. Something which I haven't covered in the tutorial because it was too short is the concept of calculation. So Tableau can, in Tableau, you can create calculations. So similar to Excel formulas. So for example, I could create a calculation for profit ratio. So trying to compare the sales and my profit. So calculations are actually happening. There's different ways you can create calculations, but if you go at the top left corner, there's a little drop down here. You can go create calculated field here. Give it a name, profit ratio. So I want to compare my profit against my sales. So as you can see, by default, Tableau give me the sum of profit. So as you typing sum, the sum comes up. You can click tab and then start typing profit, PR. You see the profit comes up because the field is already in database. Divided, SUM, tab, and sales, SA just comes up. So that's basically my calculation. So you could copy and paste and do that yourself. So I'm basically trying to compare the sum of profit against the sum of sales. The calculation is valid. If I make a mistake, like this one, Tableau will tell me there's an error. If you want to find more about calculations, you can click on that little window there. There's lots of calculations available. The best way is to Google. There's calculation to reward dates and so on. It could be quite complex, but this one is quite simple. So I'm just going to OK it, and you see that the calculation, the new one, will be created on the left-hand side. So if I click OK, that's my calculation here. And what I want to do is I want to replace that field there with the new calculated field, which is this one. So I'm going to basically drag that on the top of the existing one. And this time you can see that the database has changed, and because I've got a profit ratio this time. And you can see that's the number here. What I could also do is display the profit ratio in the label here. So I'm just going to drag that into labels. That's it. What I want to do also is, because it's a percentage, which is a new concept I want to introduce, is you can, on a number here, on the calculation, you can click on that. Default property number format. I want to turn that into a percentage. And you can see that the profit ratio is minus 385%. So I basically turn the profit ratio into a percentage and display it on the chart. And as you can see that table or that product is really bad in your shop, and you should probably address it. And you can call this one a ratio. So I've got 5 different type of charts. The next thing I wanted to show you was how to create a dashboard. So I'm going to click on the dashboard option there. So there's different type of dashboard. There's tiled or floating. So I'm going to start with tiled because it's probably the easiest. You got the size here. What you can do is you can display automatic if you want it, that basically use the full width. On creating a dashboard, it's pretty simple. You basically drag and drop your numbers or your data sheets into the one canvas. So I've got one there. I'm going to drag this one, and as you can see, I'm basically telling Tableau where to display it or where to put the viz. So this time it's on the right hand side. I want the map here, for example, and the ratio there. So I've decided to have 4 charts. Those labels I've cropped up because they automatically displayed. So if you click on them once, you can remove them if you don't want them. Just doing a bit of housekeeping. Because I've got 4 charts, Tableau sort of calculated equal values for the chart dimensions, but you could always move things around, making bigger or smaller. If you don't want the chart titles like this one, and the titles are those, you just click on the chart 1 to activate, and you can right click and hide title. Sometimes titles are pretty obvious, so you don't need the title. Hide chart. You might want to have a title for the dashboard itself. So you're going to bring a text field right at the top and call it my dashboard. In there, you can make it as big as you want, change the font, make that a bit smaller. You can even import an image. So if you had a logo on your website, on your computer, you could just import the image. One thing you could also do is link all those 4 charts together in your dashboards, meaning when you click on something, the rest of the dashboard updates. So the way you do that is by clicking on the chart. As you can see, the navigation shows up here. Every time you click on one chart, navigation shows up. And so I'm going to activate it on the map, and you just click on use as a filter. So that means if I click on one section of my map, the rest of the data would update. As so. So I've clicked on Auckland, and that's my New Zealand data that just showing, displaying. You could do the same by just clicking on that map on the chart here, and just click on use as a filter. And if I want to display data just for tables, which is this one, I click on that, and the other charts have been updated. There's nothing showing there because I think it was in a different country from what I can remember. You could also display, do you remember if we had a country filter for the map? We're only displaying Australia and New Zealand. So I click on the map again, and if I go there and go filters, country region, so my filter shows up here, and same thing applies. You see, that's when I click on the map and I choose the country, the map updates. So I've got my dashboard. You can also name it my sales data or whatever you want. So what I was explaining is that there's a few ways you can share your dashboard. One way, or maybe I'm going to show you how to save your work to start with so you don't lose it. So the first option is to go File, Save As. You find the folder where you save your work with the Excel spreadsheet. It's always better to have it the same way. And just call it my sales, for example, click on Save. So if I go back to the folder, the file is saved here. One key concept as well is you can also, if you go File, Save As, you can also save the file as a workbook file. So the first one I saved only includes the Tableau file. If you wanted to share the Tableau workbook file with the data, underlying data, you need to choose the package workbook. When you select package workbook, the data and the Tableau files will be together. So I've just did that right now. I click on Save. If I go back to my folder, this one is my normal Tableau file, quite small, very, very little. This one is my package workbook file that includes the data file, and it's much bigger, as you can see, because it includes the Excel spreadsheet and the data. So about saving, about publishing. So one way is to print as PDF. So you could print your dashboard as a PDF file, which is one way. So you can do that. You can choose Active Sheet and so on. Save it as PDF. If you go back, that's the PDF has just been created. Oh, I see here. So that's a PDF now. Keep in mind that you've lost interactivity. There's no filters anymore. There's no others. It's like a flat file. But it could be useful to include that into a Word doc. The other option is to save that as a PowerPoint file. Similar kind of concept, except this time is PowerPoint. So you're basically saving your file as a PowerPoint file. If I go back to my folder, that's what I just done. That's my PowerPoint file here. But as you can see, you probably notice it's lost also the interactivity. There's no, it's a static image. But something that could be useful to include that into your Word doc assessment, for example. The other way is to save the file in Tableau Public. So as I said, Tableau Public is a bit of a YouTube for Tableau data viz. It's free. Anyone can log in and sign up. So I'm logged into Tableau Public. So it's all happening in the server section. So if you click on server, Tableau Public, save to Tableau Public as, you click on that. One thing I didn't cover, which I wanted to show you, is when you save a file in Tableau Public, you need to make an extract, data extract. So you go back to your data source here and click on extract. It's basically making a copy or duplicate of the file for easier access, faster access. Click on the dashboard again, server, save as Tableau Public, just give it a name, doesn't matter too much. And when you when you save to Tableau Public, the file will be saved. It would take a couple of minutes, even quicker sometimes. The web browser would open up onto your computer. You'll see that in a minute. That's my web browser. So I've got, obviously I'm logged into my Tableau Public profile. The file is going to be saved and published, and that's it. That's my workbook that I've just done in Tableau Desktop, saved to my Tableau Public. And this time it's interactive, so that's a full version. Full interactive. I can see there's filters and so on. So the data is fully interactive. Tableau gave me a URL, unique URL. So if I go back to that's my Tableau Public. It created a little thumbnail that created a section on my Tableau Public page with a separate link, almost like a mini website. And then you could use that link to share with colleagues and friends and get some feedback. Keep in mind, it's only for public data. So as I said before, don't do that with confidential data because everyone has access to that link potentially. So don't use it for confidential information. So I think that's all I wanted to cover. I just wanted to make sure that you had the basis, and I hope you're having fun with Tableau. If you have any questions, I'll be available. I'm always available on Teams if you have data specific questions or Tableau specific questions. Have fun and happy Tableau. Bye.